Congressman Paul Ryan says he'll run for the House Speaker job, but he is setting conditions before he does so. Despite first saying no, Ryan has been barraged with pleas from both sides of the aisle to run for the top leadership role being vacated by John Boehner. So what career lessons can we all learn from Congressman Ryan's position, especially in the art of negotiation? Executive coach Michele Woodward joins us now to discuss. Michele, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
So, Michele, there are probably a lot of people who take promotions simply because it's expected of them or it's the logical next step, but not because they truly want it. Is that wise?
You know, it's sort of, there's an archetype about that, the reluctant warrior. It's sort of the Robert E. Lee school of thought. And so for a lot of people, there's a lot of romance, this thought that they are really needed and that it's a really kind of an obligation for them to do it. So they do it, and it can be wise because, as Paul Ryan is showing, you can ask for a lot of things when people are really asking you to take on a job.
And speaking of asking for things, Congressman Ryan caught our attention when he laid out a specific stipulation for running for Speaker. Have a listen.
I cannot and I will not give up my family time. I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message. What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve.
So, Michele, is it unusual to include family time and more work-life balance as conditions for taking a job? And wouldn't a woman be criticized if she made that same demand?
Well, I think if Cathy McMorris Rodgers, who's a member of the Republican leadership, had made that same request, she would have been passed over for Speaker. But I do think it's wise of Paul Ryan to make this kind of stipulation at the beginning. You know, John Boehner was on the road every week, all the time, raising money for Republicans around the country. And I think Paul Ryan's a very smart man, and he saw what toll that took on John Boehner. And so I assume that that's the same thing that he's looking at now, that he doesn't want to do that. And so I think it's actually setting a good precedent for every one of us to set our priorities around what's really important.
Sure. Now, so what is the takeaway here? Because all of us, we all want a work-family balance that's acceptable. So how can we make these same demands? What can we learn from Paul Ryan?
Well, Paul Ryan is coming from a place of amazing strength. From his position as chairman to his role as vice president on the national ticket. He has a ton of strength. He also has a ton of strength because nobody else is in a position to run. So he can pretty much ask for whatever he wants. That's true for any of us in our careers. When we come from a position of strength, we can ask. There's a moment where we can ask, and if we let the moment go by, we can't go back and ask for it again. So I think that's a really key takeaway, is to time your asks when you are at the highest peak of your demand.
You say the timing is so important, so how can we recognize when we may be at that point?
When someone's asking you to do something and you're not asking for the opportunity, that's the moment of strength where you can say, I'll do it under these conditions, just as Congressman Ryan has done.
So strike when the iron is hot. Michele Woodward, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.